Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It is November 18th, 2015, and here's a look at our top stories.
Tonight, the enemy within. Nearly 70 men and women with ISIS-related terror plots on American soil have been arrested, including refugees. Meanwhile, hundreds of guns, including grenade launchers and M4 rifles, have been lost or stolen from Bay Area police departments. Then,
we are at war with radical Islamic terrorism.
Jeb Bush says he wants to be the leader of the free world, and he also wants American soldiers on the ground in Iraq and Syria.
We need to intensify our efforts in the air and on the ground.
Plus, in the aftermath of the Paris massacre, Americans rush to buy guns as authorities warn of impending terrorist attacks at home. All that plus much more up next on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction, easy assembly, low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.
Now, coming up later in our show, we'll have a special report and news blitz from Leanne McAdoo and also a report from Joe Biggs, who's on the ground in Paris, France. And let's start off the show by talking about Paris, and in particular, what to do with all these Syrian refugees. The Obama administration has said that they want to bring a very large amount, tens of thousands of Syrian refugees here to the United States. Now, we already have some here. There's an article that's out in local Dallas news talking about how Dallas has a growing Syrian population. Multiple governors, including our governor here in the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, has said, you know, let's kind of back off this for right now. Many other governors have joined suit, said, hey, we don't want the Syrian refugees here. Now, first of all, let me say this. I definitely understand that there is a reason why people are coming from Syria in such mass numbers. That is the Syrian conflict that's going on over there. And it's not exclusively the United States' fault, but the United States is a very large contributor to the violence that's going on there. When you consider how we've been arming groups like Al-Qaeda, who are going around, well, first of all, Al-Qaeda, who is known, AKA by this term Syrian refugees, are going around killing people, burning down villages, chopping off Christians' heads, setting people on fire, all these things that you've seen in the videos that have come out over the past couple of years. They've been launching chemical attacks. Then Obama gets on TV and says it was the Assad regime, not vouching for Assad at all. But you can see in the video that they showed on multiple major news outlets here in the States, it had the Al-Qaeda watermark on the video, just like you watch something, let's say you're watching CBS, you're watching a CBS football game, right? It has the CBS logo in the corner. They had the Al-Qaeda logo on the video, but they said it was Assad. That's just how dumb they think the American people are. So with that said, I understand that the U.S. is a contributor to violence in places like Syria, Yemen, Pakistan, many other places as well. And people want to leave those areas because they are in legitimate fear for their safety. So they want to come here or other places, but this is a very large target for them. But then the question comes about, how are we going to go about vetting such large numbers of people, you know, tens of thousands at a time? How do you do that? Because you think about some type of background check here in the States, right? You're in some type of database, we all are, whether it's FBI database, you know, NSA, whatever, they can do some check on you and see, okay, this is so-and-so, he was born on this date in this hospital in this city to these parents. You can't really do that with people who are basically going off the honor system and saying, hey, my name is, you know, John Brown, and I'm from such and such village in Syria, and then they just have to take their word for it. They can't really scrub a database and find out who these people are. Also, the top advisors in Washington are saying, Mr. President, we can't vouch for all these people that you want to bring in such big numbers. Not saying that we should close the door to them. We just have to find some way to work around it. And as I said earlier, we need to hold the politicians accountable who are making situations worse in these countries. And with Obama, of course, we know Yemen, Pakistan, Mexico, states or places that have had repeated drone strikes blowing up churches, drone strikes blowing up wedding parties. In Mexico, they're running guns, giving guns to Mexican drug cartels. So I can understand the people in those locations wanting to come here to the United States for safety. And there are other issues and things going on in those countries as well. Also, the Bush administration, Iraq, depleted uranium, people having poison in their lungs, people becoming poisoned, having sick children. It's not just for the people over there. The people who come back home are fighting men and women, Gulf War syndrome. Many people attribute to the depleted uranium, and also Reagan with Iran-Contra, making the situation worse down in Central America, South America. People are still feeling those ill effects to this day. So, of course, people want to go someplace where they consider it to be much safer. But in the meantime, you have politicians who use your tax dollars to go make countries worse. And then when the people want to come here, they want you to use your tax dollars again to accommodate people. And I'm not, like I said when I started the broadcast, I'm not touting a closed door policy. I'm saying that the politicians who are making these situations worse need to be held accountable for their actions. These people are not taking pay cuts. They're not allowing people to live on their private ranches or in their Chicago penthouses or anything else. They want you, the American taxpayer, to mess up your finances and fund, I don't even want to call them their mistakes, because they knew what they were doing. They knew that this was going to blow back on it some way or the other, and they just want you to pay for it. So there is no one size fits all to this that I can see. But I think what we really need to start doing is just hold the politicians accountable who made things worse in the first place. Now, with that said, I'm going to go on to my articles here, and we'll talk about the threats that are already in the United States of America. America's enemies within, how nearly 70 have been arrested in America over ISIS plots. It says U.S. authorities have charged at least 66 men and women with ISIS-related terror plots on American soil, including a handful of refugees. President Obama insists that slamming the door in Syrian refugees fleeing ISIS would be a betrayal of American values, while he funds al-Qaeda rebels and sends drones to blow up innocent people. But 34 governors are refusing to take any more in case jihadi fighters slip into the states and repeat the carnage of Paris. And if you scroll down through the article, you can see the people who are listed as those suspects. And as I keep repeating, I can't say enough, I don't have a closed door policy, but we need to have some way to vet the people that are coming here. If that means taking resources, let's say we just take the NSA and have them run background checks, fine. Let them do something actual useful instead of just spying on you through your Xbox video camera. And as we talk about the situation going on in Paris, many people are saying that, hey, Paris is a largely disarmed area. If people had firearms, they'd be able to at least fire off a shot. So Americans are seeing this. They say, we don't want to be victims of this. So they're going out and buying guns in very vast numbers. That's pretty much always happens after a gun-related incident, whether that be domestic or abroad. People realize that despite the best efforts of the police, they had something on the line today. I think it was on Drudge, as a matter of fact. It was a lady who they called RoboCop. I mean, she was tacked up from head to toe. They said she even had some bulletproof goggles on. And as awesome, and I'm sure that lady is, she wasn't there to protect the people, not knocking the cops. I'm just saying you need to have a means to protect yourself. So now we have Americans rush to buy guns in the wake of Paris attacks. Gun sales and concealed carry permit applications in the U.S. have spiked in the days following the terror attacks in Paris, according to gun store owners. And while guns are going off the shelves, guns are also going missing. And we have the article, hundreds of guns lost or stolen from Bay Area authorities. And these include grenade launchers, sniper rifles, and M4 rifles.
A 4-month-long investigation by NBC Bay Area uncovered hundreds of police-issued weapons lost or stolen and put back onto our streets during the last 5 years.
They aren't being stolen by legal residents or people who otherwise can go into a gun store and purchase guns. They're being stolen by criminals to be used by criminals to be used in crimes.
From those agencies alone, we found 58 guns that have been lost or stolen in the last 5 years.
And earlier in the broadcast, I was talking about the Bush family, their exploits in places like Iraq. And now we see Jeb in the never-ending war. Jeb Bush, the long-shot presidential nominee, wants more Americans on the ground in Iraq.
The United States should not delay in leading a global coalition to take out ISIS with overwhelming force. We need to intensify our efforts in the air and on the ground. While air power is essential, it cannot bring the results we seek. The United States, in conjunction with our NATO allies and more Arab partners, will need to increase our presence on the ground. Here's the truth you will not hear from our president. We are at war with radical Islamic terrorism.
You know, when I was a kid, I remember going to class one day and they're talking about flu shots. And the teacher told us that, you know, you can go get a flu shot, but it also increases your chances of getting the flu. And I was like, well, how does that make sense? I thought the flu shot was supposed to cure you of the flu, but we all know it injects the virus into you that can make you just as sick. And people call you an anti-vaxxer or, you know, tinfoil hat wearer. No, I'm somebody who lives in a reality where you can go to Walgreens, you can go to CVS, you can go get a vaccine insert handed to you by a medical professional, and it reads, hey, this vaccine can give you symptoms including but not limited to diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. With that said, I try to avoid the flu shot. I try to, you know, eat chicken noodle soup if I feel sick, drink orange juice, get plenty of exercise, sunshine, all the good stuff. And I want everybody to think about this. Just take a moment and jog this around in your brain. You've ever been watching TV and you've seen like a drug recall commercial? If you've taken such and such drug between this state and this state, call in now to be part of our class action lawsuit. You've seen those commercials. Now, if you're taking a pill or you're taking some type of syrup, cough syrup or whatever, you can stop taking it and then go join the lawsuit. But if you're taking a vaccine, whatever's in your body is already in there and it is not coming out. And now we have this Uber. Uber is going to drive around and give you a flu shot. Once again, as I say, I try to avoid the flu shot for the reasons that I just told you. But if you choose to do it, that's your business. But here's a special report warning you about potential side effects.
Are you one of the 80% of Americans that didn't get your flu shot yet? Well, Uber, the company that eventually wants to take away your ability to drive, has a solution. That's right, they're offering on-demand flu shots to your doorstep. Uber has teamed with Passport Health and Epidemico, a data mining company owned by Booz Allen Hamilton, to provide flu shots right to your door. That's right, now you can have aluminum, mercury, and other adjuvants injected into your arm in the comfort of your own home. And remember, the flu shot was only 18% effective last year, so this year's numbers can only get better. Or can they? Uber Health provided more than 2,000 vaccinations last year, and this year they're going to have up to 10,000 flu shots available, with hundreds of nurses ready in Uber vehicles across the country. But it's only one day. You can read more about it and Booz Allen Hamilton at INFOWARS.com. Rob Dew reporting. And sign up for our newsletter at INFOWARS.com/insider.
Patriot Act. You know, it sounds very patriotic, doesn't it? And now we have the Freedom Act, something that you would think would make you more free, but is exactly the opposite. The people who continue to fail to keep us safe just say that they need more power in which to do it. You know, like, think of it about this way. You know, let's say you go to a pool or whatever, right? You have a lifeguard and the lifeguard fails to save somebody from drowning because they're messing on their phone or whatever else. You don't say, let's hire 10 new lifeguards. You say, let's fire this guy and put somebody else in that can do his job. But it doesn't seem to work like that in American politics or in the American surveillance system, because their answer to everything is give us more MRAPs, give us more heavy body armor, give us more tear gas, give us more video cameras, and we will keep you safe. Of course, we know for all the surveillance and all these other things, whether it's here in the United States, it's abroad in Paris or any place else, a lot of times all we end up with is a lot of just video of the incident that happened. Having video doesn't all the time stop the situation. And a lot of times the video that you see, even in these Paris attacks, have been just amateur photographers or journalists or other people who were on the scene at the time. It wasn't CCTV video cameras, and even if they have it on camera, they just have the guys running in to respond to the situation. But all that to say this, a Republican senator from Arkansas has submitted a bill that would extend the NSA's ability to collect Americans' phone metadata by more than a year. Tom Cotton insisted that last week's terror